Hi, and welcome back to That's Entertainment, the weekly entertainment show where we look at all the interesting entertainment news from last week, this week. New research from NRG and Roku highlighted another major step forward in the evolution of the home streaming market, the ever-growing significance of ad-funded services. Of the nearly 3,000 respondents surveyed between the ages of 18 and 70 who watched at least 5 hours of TV per week, 70% said they were willing to pay for an AVOD service if it meant monthly subscription costs would lower. 25% also said that they added an ad-supported paid subscription in the past year, while nearly a third said that they added a new ad-supported free streaming service. In encouraging news from the film and TV industry, 73% of respondents noted that new movie releases are a key factor in why they would try a new streaming platform. And in that respect, movies are ahead of sports, while 42% of respondents saying that they watch sports via streaming, 62% still watch sports on paid TV. So we're seeing the outcomes of the pandemic with the rise in the number of subscription services onboarded. AVOD, I think, has been squeezed through a funnel in terms of its having its baptism of fire and is beginning to look like one of the more viable models going forwards if we want to have a diverse marketplace of different VOD streaming platforms out there. You know, that we do have this issue with the size of wallet and the limitation on people's time. Amazon and Netflix are the clear winners. Also, YouTube, I mentioned many times, has been a clear winner throughout this process of the pandemic. We are in a stage where everything is being figured out currently, and we don't have a tracking system that can keep up. So God knows what we're going to do when we're trying to report success back on the various campaigns, projects, ideas, developments, productions that we will all be working on in the future. You know, the industry is going to need serious help here. And, you know, I'm hoping that a range of startups are now really beginning to look at this sector and think about producing something new and exciting. The continuing appeal of SVOD has caused digital TV research to reappraise their predictions for the next 5 years in the US. Principal analyst Simon Murray was quoted by Broadcast TV News as saying, "We've substantially revised our forecast to reflect recent market developments. For instance, we have markedly increased our subscriber numbers for Amazon Prime Video, HBO Max, and the others category. Consequently, digital TV research now believe that the US SVOD subscriptions for movies, linear channels, and TV episodes, through excluding other platforms such as sport, will climb by 33% from 338 million at the end of this year to 450 million by 2026. And it's not just the US market that digital TV research is expecting to continue growing. Latin America, 131 million SVOD subscriptions by 2026, up from 76 million at the end of this year. This research suggests that the appeal of major streaming platforms will be as significant as it is currently in North America. According to Simon Murray, 5 US-based platforms, Netflix, Amazon, Disney+, Apple TV, and HBO, will account for 91% of the region's paying SVOD subscriptions by the end of 2026. Long-established Netflix will continue to lead the market, but its share will fall. Disney Plus will have 33 million subscribers by 2026, with HBO Max boasting another 10 million. The emerging Arab market is also expected to grow significantly, with over 8.61 million subscribers this year to 15 million by 2026. Digital TV research are highlighting the importance of the US streaming platforms, with Netflix expected to bring in more subscribers than second place OSN and third place Starz Play combined. Simon Murray predicts that although overall subscriber numbers will climb impressively, there are too many Arabic platforms. We do not believe that the market can sustain this many Arabic platforms, as few of them offer as much original or exclusive content. Some of those US streamers made significant international announcements recently following its launch in 39 territories in Latin America and the Caribbean earlier this summer. HBO Max will become available in the Nordics and Spain in autumn, with plans to roll out in Central and Eastern Europe and Portugal next year. While HBO Max has yet to launch in Asia, Warner Bros. Confirmed that their theatrical release will debut on the existing HBO Go platform just 45 days after their theatrical release, with a confirmation of a 45-day theatrical window in those Asian markets. Disney Plus is to launch its Star brand in Japan this October, which will give its existing subscribers access to a further 16,000 titles, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Disney Plus will also add new features and compatibility across a wide range of mobile and connected TV devices, including games consoles, streaming media players, and smart TVs, the streaming service said. Cinema has always tried to separate itself from VOD via the quality of the technologies that they're using. 4K screens, Dolby surround sound, Atmos, if these are being replaced in the living room, then I would say that cinemas now need to be focusing more on the experience. So, okay, technology is one component that we can all get behind, but I think we also need to be looking at redesigning the spaces around cinema and thinking about how we turn the cinema outing into an experience which is on par with going to the pub or booking your place at a favorite restaurant of yours. So I think if the technology is catching up on that side, then cinema should be looking at service innovation and technology innovations outside of the standard screen upgrades, seating upgrades, sound upgrades that we've been hearing so much about over the last few years. Disney Plus also reiterated its commitment to European production, with Jan Kopen, president of the EMEA, revealing at the Series Mania event plans to produce 60 original titles that will showcase local content to global audiences by 2024, highlighting the wealth of opportunities that exist for European producers today. Local content accounts for 70% of all TV viewing in Europe, so there is certainly no lack of appetite. European content production as a whole has ramped up to unprecedented levels, and in 2020 there were a staggering 50% more European TV commissions than in the year prior, accompanied by higher budgets for higher quality content. I will call this a real bonanza for the European creative community. Well, we've been saying this for quite some time. There has never been a better time to be a producer. And the European Union's Creative Europe budgets, I think, will now finally stand a chance of dramatically improving the commercial viability of European film production, because there are so many different ways in which this content can be bought and sold now, prior to the old model, which was so heavily reliant on theatrical. I think this is going to be a real boon for storytelling across the world. And, I remember reading in a report that back in 2018, 2019, only 3 to 4% of films actually find or make their money back. So a tiny proportion of that actually become profitable, and a tiny, tiny proportion of that overall 3 to 4% number will actually make, big money. We're looking at a very exciting future for production, content, and the film industry as a whole. We just need better tracking, minimization of piracy, and I don't know how we're going to do that. Again, maybe a startup can step into the breach here. And we need a recognition of the cinema as one of these important viewing windows, with a strategy that falls outside the normal technology routes of just focusing on the actual experience of watching the film. I think cinemas have a load of innovation potential out there. And like I said in my previous podcast, I think the model is far from done. I think there is a very exciting future for cinema and group experiences and watching interesting films, and probably a wider variety of different types of content that we'll be looking at in the future. I mean, I'm really thinking that series from the likes of these major players could be updated. One of my big highlights of my time working within the content industry was going and watching Game of Thrones at the Copenhagen Film Festival outside in April on a huge screen. It was cold, but it was really, really worth it, and really great fun to check out that experience. And hopefully more of these kind of cinema presentations of the big shows will come into effect, because again, it's fantastic content. And finally, here's a roundup of the most interesting content deals announced by streamers. HBO Max's updated Gossip Girl show will be confirmed for a second season after the updated former CW show became HBO Max's most watched original series over its first weekend. Another cancelled show has been rescued by a streamer. A Christmas-themed movie for a former NBC show, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, will be the first original film from Roku. Apple TV acquired the rights to popular preschool show Yo Gabba Gabba. Netflix has unveiled a multi-year deal with a leading Indian production company, XL Entertainment, for a variety of new series. The Croods family tree will see several cast members from the successful movie reprise their roles for a new 6-part series. What makes this small screen spin-off particularly interesting is it will debut on 2 competing US streamers, Universal's Peacock and Disney's Hulu. And Hulu quickly announced their plans for a sequel to the 20th Century Studios' Vacation Friends, after the John Cena comedy became the streamer's most watched original film to date over its opening weekend. That's all for this week. Thank you very much.